Welcome everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. Thank you all for joining me. We have been doing evening streams mostly here on this channel, but today we're switching it up. We used to do these morning streams a lot more often, so here we are on a Tuesday morning. I hope everybody is doing well. It's good to see some folks. The night crew is here early in the morning as well, although it's not morning for everybody, I assume. And then there's some folks who haven't been able to make the evening streams, so this should be fun. It's a different kind of stream today. We're not actually going to be making music on today's stream. We're going to be listening to, I believe, about 15 entries to this vocal sample flip competition that we've been doing, brought to you by Ace Studio. You can find more about them in the link down below. I'll explain all that later. Consider this your sort of morning radio show, because we're going to be mostly listening to music this morning. We're going to choose 3 entries from the selection to win a prize, a year license to Ace Studio. So that's what we got going on today. But before we get too deep into that, how are you all doing? Great to see channel members in the chat. Barn Red Pine, how are you? Thank you for being here. Accent Noir. Accent Noir, we might be on the same day currently. Usually in the evening streams you're on a future day, but I think we're both living in Tuesday right now. Am I right? Jimmy, nice to see you as well. Tom, happy Tuesday, my friend. Dungeon Master, nice to see you too. Nigel, greetings. I look forward to listening to people's submissions. I do have some work to do though, so I may not be able to listen live, but I'll catch what I can. That's totally fine. You know how it goes. This streams are always available to watch later on the channel. If you go to the main channel page, there's a live tab that you can watch previous streams. I would definitely recommend going back and checking out some of those past evening streams, because those are a fun watch. I think a lot of sound experiments. No programming note is that there's no Thursday evening stream this week. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming next Thursday. Well, what is everybody drinking this evening? I've got my homemade ice Americano. Just a fancy way of saying it's a espresso shot, some almond milk, and some water. And then we got coffee. What's up, Ayote? Nice to see you. What's up, Brent? Brent's drinking iced tea. Paul says lucked out schedule wise today and psyched to be able to catch this. Yeah, I'm stoked that. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a coaster. A lot of condensation happening on this. I'm glad that some folks are able to catch the stream live that are not normally able to tune in. Also, another ice Americano out here in the audience. We love to see that. Black craft coffee, drip coffee. Coffee Gang. Coffee Gang is coming through strong today. Revmal, you should at least be drinking some water. Get yourself some H2O, my friend. Who did I miss? Fabian, nice to see you. Audio Defect Wave, hey there. Great to have you. Argnostic. Thank you all for being here. Mineral water. We love to see that. Some wine. Hopefully it's evening for you, my friend. Oh, Paul, you had to switch to tea because of blood pressure? Oh, that's a nightmare. I'm sorry for your loss. But good for you for staying healthy. All right, so what are we getting into today? Let me play you all the track that I made with these vocals. I don't know if everybody has seen the video that I created. Here, let me bring it up. So I made a video about this subject, which everything I'm going to talk about right now will be linked in the description. I made a video where I used this new program. Also, this is the first appearance of my boss in a video. So if you haven't seen this video, it's definitely worth watching. But this is, reduce that down, a program where you can write a vocal. Match the words up. meaning you can write a vocal melody, and then you can write in lyrics, and you now have a singer singing your melody, and you can choose from a bunch of different singers. So that's what Ace Studio is all about. So it's kind of one step above using something like a splice vocal, because if you think about it, you get a top line vocal from splice. You obviously can't write the lyrics. You can't really change the melody. Sometimes there's effects on there that you can't get rid of. So this is a solution to writing a top line vocal, whether you're going to use it for a finished release song or you're just going to use it for a demo and then get an actual human singer on there. That's what this tool is used for. So I created this song. Let me find a good starting point here. This song with these vocals. And I think it sounds pretty dang good. It's not that surprising that it sounds good, because these vocals are, even though it's using AI technology, the AI is trained from a real vocalist. So this vocalist that you're hearing is the singer that trained this particular voice AI. So to me, I know there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of cynicism about AI out there, and rightly so, because there's a lot of use cases for AI that are very exploitive. However, with Ace Studio, they do a revenue share model with vocalists that they work with, and they also license the actual voices that they use. So that was my reasoning for considering working with this kind of new technology and showcasing it here on the channel. But I don't know what you all thought of this vocal sound. And I think the one thing people might say is, oh, well, it could put vocalists out of a job, right? No longer will people hire vocalists. They'll just use this kind of technology. And I think the people using this technology are not people that would have otherwise worked with a vocalist. They are people that would have used vocal samples instead. People that are working with vocalists, people that are writing songs, they're gonna still work with a vocalist, you know? But virtual people like Hatsune Miku, if you don't know who that is, she's a Japanese Vocaloid where you can license her voice, and she's basically like a virtual pop star and using the same kind of technology. So this stuff has already existed for a long time. It's just now we have the ability for singers to actually license out their voices for anybody to use at any time without them having to go into a studio. So that kind of thing. Oh, let me know, Paul, if we're having any technical issues with the stream. I think everything should be up and good. Is the boss back on the beach? That's a good question. He hasn't been around in a while. I'll have to check in with him soon. He must be on vacation. The boss is absent today, Barn. That's true. I hope he doesn't show up. What's up, Amos? Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. But what's everybody's take on this kind of technology? If you want to know more about it, the link is in the description. Ace is the sponsor for today's stream. They sponsor the video, but I pitched them this idea. I was like, instead of just doing a video, why don't we do like a sample competition? And I thought that was pretty cool. So even if you're just finding out about this competition now, and you're like, dang, I wish I could have participated, or I wish I could have remixed these vocals, I'm going to leave the vocals up. So if you want to download the vocals, they're totally free. Also, even if you just want to hear the vocals, because I don't know if some of you that did the remix, gave a listen to this, but I included the wet and the dry versions of the vocal. So like no effects. So that way you can actually hear what it sounds like, what the vocal sounds like with no effects. I mean, I don't have a ton of effects. I mean, I just have basic reverb on this vocal. It's not that difficult to hear what the vocal sounds like, I think. I do really like this ending, though. But But I was really impressed with working with the software. I thought it was going to be more difficult because you have control over not just like the words and the melody, but there's air and breath. So it's like how much air is the singer using, and you can sort of automate that, and it really has a transformative effect on the vocal. If you think about a vocalist singing with their full chest versus a singer singing in falsetto like she was at the end there's a lot to tweak, but it's really not that difficult to program. And then it also links up with the DAW, which you can see me demonstrate in the video, which was very seamless. So I was overall impressed. I don't work with sponsors where I'm not like, where I don't think what they have to offer is like kind of impressive, kind of novel, kind of interesting, something that I think people out there making music would be interested in, you know? It's not just random. And believe me, I get a lot of sponsorship inquiries, especially for AI stuff these days, and I say no to mostly everything because so much of it is garbage. Wait, video game time since the boss is gone? That's a good point. Should we just cancel the stream? Cancel the listening stream? No, that wouldn't be fair to our entries. But I have been playing Oblivion Remastered. Very little. I have not really done much in it, but if anybody out there can give me tips for Oblivion, I've never played it before. So I wonder if they said the same thing in the 80s, read drum samples and drummers. Actually, the counselor, they did say the same thing for drum samples, for synthesizers. There was actually a musicians union, and I think this was in the UK. There was a musicians union that essentially wanted to bar all synthesized, any kind of digital music. So if we're wondering why musicians, producers, all those folks don't have any sort of collective power like, say, the Actors Guild, like SAG and stuff like that, very powerful union that they have. If you're wondering why musicians and producers don't have that, it's because musicians and producers are constantly arguing about what's okay and what's not okay and judging each other for those things. So if we just did that a little less, we'd actually have a lot more power, which is very interesting. Hey, Drew, thank you so much for becoming a Guardian. Welcome to the membership, the highest tier of membership. Thank you for being a guardian of my creativity. Welcome, my friend. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, RevMouse says, when working on the remix, my wife didn't believe it was AI at first. Yeah, I think it's, if you didn't, that's the thing is like, obviously when everything I have put out about it, I'm talking about like, oh, it's an AI vocal, blah, blah, blah. And people will be snarky and be like, I can tell it's an AI. It's like, bro, if I didn't say anything, if you just turned on the radio and this song was on the radio, you would not take a second guess. You would not think twice. You would not be like, oh, this is an AI vocal. Ayotti says the vocal quality is excellent in my opinion, great for songwriters who are challenged vocally or to give a vocalist an idea of how the songwriter hears the vocal should be. Exactly. That is a fantastic use case. I know a lot of people that just do songwriting. Like if you listen to, I listen to a lot of K-pop. If you listen to any other kind of pop music that has a ton of writers on it, those folks are going and writing these songs and then pitching them to artists. So what this allows for is like a producer, a songwriter to make, say you're a male songwriter, but you want to write for female vocals. This makes it so much easier for you to cut a demo now. Instead of using your voice, they kind of have to imagine how it would sound with a woman or like out of your range. So think about that. Exactly. I like how you could use this for demos or early work, and then if you want to replace it with a real vocalist, and then that person is doing the training is being compensated. Like everybody's getting compensated. It makes everybody's lives easier. If you are going to then go and hire or give this song to a real life singer, they have a very clear vision of what you want and what the song is supposed to sound like, right? They improved it a lot. That's good to know, Paul. Well, good to know they're keeping up, because that is the key thing, is like being able to just open the plugin, like have the application open and then have my DAW open and just work within my DAW and just care about the vocals down in the application, have it linked up. That was like very impressive. Anna says, finally a live stream at a normal hour. Yes, I mean, it's hard. I mean, if people can just quickly type in like where you're tuning in from, you can see just how international this community is, and it's very difficult to nail down a good stream time with that kind of international community. I mean, we have people tuning in from all over the world, and it's hard to find a time that works for everybody. People in the US, we got UK, Las Vegas right off the bat. I know we have people in Asia, Ontario, Canada, middle of the USA, North Carolina. A lot of US people tuning in more than usual today. Germany. Diogo. It would be cool if you did some video on how to build up drums in a track. Maybe talk about the basic drum sounds and how to use them and build patterns. I think you should check out my music theory rhythm video, probably. Diogo. I think there's a chapter on rhythm. Let me see. TAETRO music theory rhythm is what I'm typing into YouTube. It's way easier to find my own videos that way. So rhythm, it's called a rhythm rules, understanding basic rhythm for music producers. I think that, I'm not sure how much I touch on the actual drum sounds and stuff, but you know. Revmal, when I read this, it's so funny you guys are sharing these, but when I read this one, Romania 1820, it really looked like a Bible verse. I'm like, why is somebody typing a random Bible verse? Narnia. Tabe Comics tuning from Narnia at 6 a.m. It's interesting. Switzerland, Germany, Kentucky, the Bay Area. I mean, even the U.S. alone, there's a 3-hour time difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, so that's difficult enough. But Anna, thank you for tuning in. I don't know what IL is, but it's 6 p.m., so you must be far away. IL? IL would be Illinois in the United States. Oh, Israel. Got it. So far. See, everybody's all over the place. So I can't please everybody. In a perfect world, we'd have morning streams, we'd have evening streams. But I don't know. I don't know if I can commit to that much time. We got Russia. It's crazy. How is it? Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. 6:23 p.m. in Russia. In Los Angeles. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this morning. I think we'll have to do maybe we can come up with a schedule. Tuesday morning stream, Thursday evening stream. We can have like a competition between the early risers and the night owls. There's only so much TAETRO to go around. I agree, but when I took a break from doing these streams, I realized I missed this part the most with folks, with us just being able to chat in real time versus me just putting out a video and like wondering if anybody's watching it. You know what I mean? Or wondering if you're even going to see it on your homepage. So who knows? We do have a video coming out. Okay, and then we're going to get into the listening time. We will have a video out on Sunday. I hope you'll enjoy that. It's about a cool new Bluetooth MIDI controller from a very small company. If you just recently became a member and you don't see your name in the credits of this video, it's because I put the credits in when I edit the video, and I edited the video like last week. So the credits won't be 100% updated, but you'll probably see your name in the credits by next week if you just recently became a member, which if you didn't know, becoming a member, you can get your name in the credits of every video, and you can also help support the channel in a big way. Get one of those little trees next to your name. I mean, look at the state of these trees. You have Accent Noir, it's got this like golden autumn tree. You have people like Tabe and the Counselor, Arnie, Aote, Josh, whose trees are fully blossoming Sakura season, you know what I'm saying? I am orange, little green tree there from Las Vegas. But yes, I forget and then you got Jimmy, the tree is just starting to grow. I love these badges. I forget what the final form must be the golden tree. That must be the end, because I know people with the golden tree have been subbed for a while. Aote says membership is 110% worth it. Love to hear it. Yeah, we're going to have So we're coming up on May. So in the month of May, we're also going to do a track feedback stream, which is much similar to what we're doing today, except for the fact that you can submit any track, and that's open for members. So it's a good time to become a member. Nonetheless, let me pull up the Discord. It's time to get into the listening. As usual, let's be supportive of all of the music that we hear today. Let's try to be positive. Let's try to not levy too much harsh criticism, though we can offer constructive criticism when it comes to production things, but also don't let the first thing I see from you in chat be some negative criticism. Let's cheer each other on. And let me figure out why my screen looks like this. Okay, we're good to go. But yeah, I think we had a last minute entry as well. I think I'll probably need a notebook to jot some stuff down. And we're going to listen to some music. Drew says, baby tree here. Yes, thank you. You became a member today. The tree has just started to grow. What's up, a beautiful fact of existence? Can you share with us a beautiful fact of existence? Oh, Jimmy asks a good question. How about the Sonido gear you got from NAMM? Yes, I'm working on that as well. That's actually right here in its case. So that's coming. Jacqueline, I thought I recognized the avatar. Nice to see you. All right, let's see. So the Discord is usually open only for members, but when we have events like this, I open up a section of the Discord called Community Garden, which I think is a good name for something like this. But the Community Garden submissions section, which somebody typed something in here today, I did delete it because it wasn't a submission, but if you want to retype it in chat, that's fine. We have a bunch of submissions here. We're going to listen to everybody's music. We're going to cheer each other on. This is now your morning, afternoon, evening radio show. So the common thread between all these entries is that everybody used the same vocal sample. So we will see what everybody did, everybody's take. We have a community full of producers that are at different skill levels, essentially. Skill levels, experience levels, different genres as well. So we're taking all that into account during our listening session today. Shall we get right into it, folks? Let's start with Accent Noir's track. This is a synth-driven ambient electronica track. Not my usual style, but I've been dabbling in it for the last couple months. Not completely happy with the drums. Need more practice. Could have a bit more variety. Let's give a listen. Keep me posted on the levels, by the way. Synths and the drums are kind of competing rhythmically at the moment. It's possible. Sounds slightly disjointed, but also the vocals are... Actually, I like this. Let's listen to this. because all the synths are so drowned in that reverb, but the vocals are not really that processed. So that's an interesting choice. That's starting to come in here, almost like a marimba kind of thing. Yeah, I think it gets there by the end. I think the what happens is you've got the synths doing this rhythm, but they're kind of buried in that reverb. But you have the drums playing a very clear rhythm, and it doesn't quite sound like the synths are rhythmically synced up with the drums. But there's lots of cool textures here. I really do like this break part, of course, a little transgate situation. And then as we get to the end, there's like some additional textures and the synths start to calm down rhythmically. So it kind of, that's what I mean when I say it gets there. There's like a string something in there, string texture or whatever. But cool nonetheless. It's great to kick things off with a ambient electronica track. Thank you, Accent Noir, for being our first submission of the day. Let's move right along. I'm really excited to see like what parts of the music everybody gravitated towards. I mean, that's what I like about listening to remixes in general, is that you hear what the producer takes a part of the song and that you didn't expect and remixes it in a certain way. I like that. Let's keep on going. We got Aote with Are You Still There? Lady Gaga paparazzi rhythm.
Are you still there? Do you even care? Are you went away? Is there a simple answer? Am I afraid to hear you now? Hear your voice in my dreams. Cause of me was reaching.
Wow.
See you in my dreams.
Listen to those textures.
See you in my dreams. See you in my dreams.
Wow. This is really good.
See you in my dreams.
Okay. Did not see this coming. This is great.
You're breaking my heart, baby. Tell me, is it you? Oh, what's going on like that? Please tell me the truth. I want you to talk to me now, talk to me now. Tell me about that love. Is everything gone, baby? Oh, what can I do? We used to be in love, having high on love. Why does it all have to end right now? I beg you, talk to me now, talk to me now. I'm there if you want it, talk to me now. Are you still there? Do you
Cool.
even care?
Combining it with a different vocal as well.
Are you went away? Is there a simple answer? Am I
careful here. I'm trying to cut down on the clipping, especially for this part.
You're breaking my heart, baby. Tell me, is it you? Oh, what's going on like that? Please tell me the truth. I want you to talk to me now, talk to me now. Tell me about that love. Is everything gone, baby? Oh, what can I do? We used to be in love, having high on love. Why does it all have to end right now? I beg you, talk to me now, talk to me now. I'll be there if you want it, talk to me now.
Very nice. Ayote, that got us up and energized for sure. Thank you for... Oh, it's not over. Nice. Thank you for bringing that energy. And also, how are we doing on levels, folks? I don't want to be clipping, so let me know if we stopped clipping. And let me know, you might have to adjust your overall level to come up a little higher because I had to pull back over here on my levels. But this section right here, I'm going to crank this up. Just let me know if it's clipping or not because this is powerful. Overall, really fantastic track. I really love the like right off the bat. I love this drum rhythm. Like I said, reminds me of Lady Gaga Paparazzi. And this new chord progression under these vocals as well. That's another awesome part about a remix competition or remixing in general, is hearing a top line vocal reharmonize with the new chord progression. So I think you did a great job with that. I also think you did a great job building up the track, getting us to that 4 to the floor hook. I mean, some of these electronic textures that start to come in, the arps. Nice. WSPN says, reminds me of Kingdom Hearts and Frou Frou. Not a bad reference point. Not bad at all. I think somebody said it earlier about your progress, Ayote. Yeah, almost said, Ayote, it's so cool to hear how far you progressed and improved. It's dope. Yeah, from a production standpoint, this is sounding fantastic, Ayote. I think it's been a while since I've heard something you produced. Sounding great. It just sounds clean. Your son mentioned Frou Frou. Nice. Yes, it's a great reference point. Anybody who hasn't listened to Frou Frou before, I definitely recommend you listen. If you know who Imogen Heap is, that's a project of hers. Very cool. We're going to keep moving, but that's another great track. Don't forget that you can find these tracks in the Garden Submissions channel on the Discord, but you can also go to people's individual SoundCloud pages and give a listen there. Also, did SoundCloud turn everything black all of a sudden? I didn't notice that. I'm liking it. I'm vibing with it for sure. Let's keep it moving. If you are just tuning in, Bobby Limes, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here today. I think a couple other people popped in the chat as we were listening to that track. But today we are listening to submissions for our remix competition with a vocal that I created with Ace Studio. You can find out more about them in the description. It's an AI-generated vocal. And everybody took the vocal stems, which you can still download for free. Link is also in the description for that. And you can take on this remix as well. But we're listening through all the tracks that were created for this remix competition. Let's keep it going with Carrie Ozman. And if you are in chat and your name isn't the same as it is on Discord or on SoundCloud, say hi. Let us know this is your submission. Drum and bass inspired electronic track featuring a number of vocal chops from the vocal samples. Let's give a listen. I love that chop. Excellent, Carrie. That was great. I mean, I love the chop right from the mat. I mean, it was used in the end there. Na 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 na. Basically writing a new melody with the vocal samples, which I thought was cool, but not a total departure from the actual vocal melody because we still get it here, but still using it in a creative way. It's definitely unexpected and a high energy track. Very cool. Carrie, thank you for that submission. Ayuda says, this one sticks in my brain. Nigel asks, do I hear tonal drums or is that a bass instrument? I do believe it's just a bass instrument. Dun, 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 dun. It can come off a little percussive. Really well mixed too. Everything sounds very clean. Let me go to a more dense section. Yeah, everything has its place. Worth a second or third listen to this track if you're looking for a little mix inspiration, because it's very clean sounding. Thank you to Carrie for that submission. Let's keep things moving right along because we got a bunch more tracks to listen to. We got 160 BPM, 90s style drum and bass. Let's see what we got going on here. Audio Defect Wave. Fast Asleep. It's a short one. Oh. What's happening these days? We got all these like fast, aggressive tracks. Crazy. Whew. Wow. I mean, that was short but sweet. I love that. Another great mix as well. I mean, these more aggressive styles are not easy to get a clean sound from because there's usually a lot of elements and there's a lot of things happening very fast. I mean, that bass stays chunky and distorted while the breaks are happening and they're not getting in each other's way. Really impressive. I didn't expect, I mean, usually we have like genres coming out of left field, but these last two were like both in this sort of more aggressive, more hype kind of electronic genre. Very cool. Huh. The reverse vocal was an attempt to create an impression of a language that doesn't exist. I do like that. I do like taking a vocal and making it kind of intelligible. You can still tell it's a human voice, but it's like, what are they saying? I mean, you could just go into A Studio and also type some nonsensical lyrics that are not real words, and you'd have the same effect. You could make your own language, actually, and write songs in your own language. But speaking of language, A Studio does also have singers of different languages. So when you look at the singers, you can see if they have another language available, like Spanish, or I think some of them have like Mandarin as well, but definitely worth checking out. Wow, we are energized. If you're not hyped up for a Tuesday to take on the rest of the week after these songs, I don't know what to tell you. Are you still there? Dungeon Master, working with vocals is a bit alien to me, but this was fun to do. It slipped into more of a house track than I usually do as well. I managed to keep it weird with some modular samples though. Let's give a listen. Huh. Oh, I was saying, Are You Still There was the title of the track. I'm not sure if this is a dad joke or not, Dungeon Master. Between the coffee and the music, I'm buzzing. Exactly, Aote. Uh-oh. Piano class. Piano class is paying off. You almost started doing it. You could basically create new melodies with those chops. Nice. I like the weird. We can lean further into the weird. Nice. Oh, we could have kept going. We could have had like another breakdown after that. Thank you, Dungeon Master. That was great. Nate G says, thought the percussion was your ice clinking. Maybe it was. Dungeon Master in the dark studio, patching some modular together. Whiskey in the glass. That's the vibe. Very cool. Yeah, it sounds like you were maybe like letting the track genre evolve as you created it, because it's got that house vibe, and then we switch over to this experimental kind of noise situation, which I really like. I think you could have incorporated that more. And then, like you said, vocals are producing with vocals being a bit alien to you. You always want to create space of the vocals, and the vocals sound like it's like there's a lot going on the vocal. A really big reverb, really big delay, and a lot of like mid-low range frequency where they could float a bit above everything else to not get in the way of that bass. They kind of sound a little separate from the rest of the track. And then some of the phrases don't quite make sense rhythmically. You could have like created distinct vocal phrases for distinct sections of the track. Yeah, all the weird stuff I really like. So you can lean further into the weird, I think, in the future. And maybe a little less low mid-range on the piano as well. But otherwise, I'm moving in my chair. I think that's all that matters. Thank you, Dungeon Master, for that submission. All right. Next up, we got another contender. Arie. Had so much fun. These samples are beautiful. Perfect challenge for my new MacBook Pro. And I just can say, wow, 38 tracks on this with 6 guitar rig tracks, some MIDI tracks, almost every audio track in complex mode, Lander mastering on the main track, CPU usage only at 26%. If only I had gotten a Mac earlier, it's all so much easier. When you go from like having just, I don't know what you had before, but I know from my experience, when you go from having just like a budget, low-end computer that's like constantly struggling, or maybe just an older computer, like even my 2018 Mac, which was it was a steep decline on the 2018 Intel Mac, let me tell you that. The performance on that being just awful. And then you get to a fully functioning Mac, like my M1 Mac, which is still going super strong. You just never have to deal with any of the BS ever again. It's a beautiful thing. But let's see, what was the product of that new laptop performance? This is Arie with Are You? Moody right off the bat. Kind of spooky profile picture. Nice. I was hoping we'd get that guitar melody in as well. There's something with a lot of low end in the right ear. I don't know what it is. It feels like it's coming in just randomly. It's like a percussion thing. In the left ear, that is, in the left ear. Rephrasing of that vocal too, which I like. I think... Oh, I hear that drum coming through nicely now. That kind of, almost like a tabla-esque sound. Or like electronic congas or something. But it sounds really good in the sparse sections there. I think in the more dense sections, it wasn't quite coming through, and it just kind of sounded like a low thud. But, this is a great sounding track. You really nailed the deep house vibe. And is this a new genre for you, Arnie? Because it's sounding really good. And I do like, you use the vocals like in a recognizable way, and then later in a more, I don't want to say distorted, but a more contorted kind of way later, which I really like the use of that as well. But it's nice to keep the energy of the tempo is going, but the mood of the track is still sort of like calm and contemplative. I think that's a nice balance to hit, perfect for deep house. Yes, please don't forget, folks, that you can go to these artists' individual pages, give them a follow, like their track. You can probably follow up with them on their other socials as well. And support each other, because that's what this community is all about. All right, let's keep it going. We have more submissions to go. Argnostic is up next. Not good at using vocals. This is one of my weak points in music making, but why not? Track is very simple and chill, and it doesn't look like what I usually make. But I like it. It's nice to be back in a friendly community and enjoy making music and listening to music. That's what it's all about, my friends. If this is your first kind of interaction with this community, I hope it's been a positive one. And if you have not participated in any part of the community in the past, it's definitely it's good vibes. I think out here online in the music production community, you all know when you look for help on Reddit, when you look for help on some forum, it is just a bunch of snarky jerks, and that's not really what we try to do here. Sometimes I like to give some tough love, but it is in service of you getting better, not in service of ego or anything. We're all just a bunch of artists trying to find our way, so what's the point in being negative? And we were all in a certain point at a certain time. We were all beginners at one time or another, or we all have sort of blind spots, things we don't understand, things we never quite learned. But that's the point of this channel. That's why I started this channel, because so many people ignore the things that like the basics, the fundamentals, the things that nobody, if you don't go to school, you don't have a teacher, or even if you did have a teacher and you did go to school, they might just glaze over. I would be sitting in class and a professor would be like, oh, so everybody understands this, right? And nobody would raise their hand and say, oh no, I don't understand this. So people will just move on. So that happens even in online spaces where you don't have a formal teacher at the front of the class, but you're just trying to find your way and learn things, and you're learning things in all different orders because you're getting this tutorial on YouTube and this kind of blog post about whatever and this forum post that tells you to do this, and you're trying to just assemble it all and make your way. And what we see here today is the product of a bunch of folks who maybe have some formal training, maybe have no formal training at all, but coming together to make music, which should be accessible to everybody, not just music, but if you want to make some kind of art, the resources, the foundations for how to go forward doing that, they shouldn't be gated from an expensive university or an expensive class or something like that. There should be, there's enough knowledge out there to go around. Is there a place for formal education and things like that? Yes, of course. But we can make our way through this world by just sharing what we know with each other and, letting our art kind of foster. I think more artists, better world, right? All right, that's my rant for now. Let's continue with the music, though. See You in My Dreams by Argnostic. Let's see where this one goes. All right, finally, we're slowing things down. We're not in the club anymore. We're in the cafe. It's very indie sounding. It's funny. I didn't expect this direction, this genre, but it kind of works. I think we got off the rhythm train for a second.
Do you even care? Or you went away?
Huh, yeah, tick tock, tick tock. I kind of like the chop melody being used this way, you know? Huh. It's almost like a Kimbra kind of thing going on there. I think that's really cool. It's a completely different take on the vocals, which I really appreciate. So I appreciate Argnostic that you had a vision and you went for it. And you definitely nailed the indie pop vibe by just keeping the vocals dry. I mean, like, of course, it's my tendency to go big, get a lot of reverb on there, but going the complete opposite direction is a bold move. And I think if you have that vision for a pop indie vibe, you should go for it, and you definitely did. I like the TikTok clock kind of vibe, and I like that you used it as a rhythmic device to bring us into the faster section over here. There's a couple points where the rhythm gets a little off, which is a little challenging. You said you're not usually working with vocals, so that's expected, but just this laid back feel, it's a nice take, because we're juxtaposing it against all these big high energy tracks that we've had so far in the day. So thank you, Argnostic, for that take on this vocal sample. It's nice to hear. That's the point of the community garden. The reason it's called community garden is because we start with the same seeds. We all start with the same seeds. This time it's the vocal samples, and we see what grows. And that's how we end up with a vibrant, diverse, beautiful community garden. That's the point of community garden. Hopefully that's obvious. Hi all, new to the community but been following TAETRO's channel for a while. Oh, I can bring up my screen. Mainly a drum and bass producer, so what better way to use the vocals than on a liquid drum and bass track? All right, we're back. We're back to the high energy stuff. Let's hear it. Oh. Na, 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 na. People love these chops, I guess. Oh, that little break there is perfect. Nice. Revmal. So cool. I think we could get a little compilation going of all the sort of like drum and bass / house tracks that we've had today. It's giving me inspiration for Beattober. If we get ahead of Beattober, do one of these challenges and then make some kind of compilation and then sell it for the charity. That would be cool. Very well done. Very clean sounding. Somebody or multiple people were saying very nostalgic sounding. I agree. Let's listen to this drop again. Yeah, I think the vocals are very well suited for this genre, so I think it goes well. Drew says, I didn't want it to end. Now, Sophie left us on a cliffhanger and said, I think I'm in love with... What is Sophie in love with? Type your guesses in the chat. Is Sophie in love with the bass? Is Sophie in love with the drums? The vocals? I'm not sure what Sophie's in love with. It's a huge cliffhanger. The song itself? Good point. Could be the drums? We don't know. Sophie, don't leave us hanging. What is May in the mix, Andrew? I do like the art with it as well. All right, we got to keep going. We got more submissions where that came from. Jaja. I'm new here too. Peace and thanks for the good vibes and knowledge. Let's see what we're cooking up. Pause. Got some crazy video happening here. Let's see. Oh, interesting. What am I looking at? I'm looking at a candle, right? Oh, an early Beattober. I get it. Oh. We need a little level control on the vocoder stuff or the talkbox stuff, but I like this vibe so far. Very nice candlelit vibe. Literally. Very trippy, pushing harmony a little bit. But it makes sense with the trippy nature of the track, I think. Cool. Well, that one was different than anything else we heard today. Wish the main pad stayed stereo. Does it change? I guess you're right. Yeah, just be careful on some of the talk boxy vocal stuff because there's a lot of low end stuff floating between the ears. But yeah, I do like the spaciness of the intro and then how it all sort of... Oh, you're right. That pad does kind of go dead center. Probably to keep out of the way of the vocals. Well, you definitely flip these vocals in a way that I think nobody else will. So thank you for that, Jaja. Very trippy, very floaty. Barn Red Pines is excited to be part of this. This is my third beat. First longer song I have made. I have still a lot to learn, but love creating music. Try to express feelings with this track. Express some feelings, y'all. Try to express some feelings once in a while. The result is kind of indie, alternative ambient song with a streak of shoegaze. I'm excited for that. Barn Red Pine, let's hear it. Show a little emotion, will ya? Oh, from that description, I did not expect brass. I'm a little worried rhythmically off the bat here. Oh god, I just opened something I didn't want to open. Misclick, misclick. I'm really second guessing if I read the right description. It said, oh, here we go. Okay. AG says getting ready for battle. Yeah, it fits right in with playing Oblivion Remastered. Okay, I like the guitar. Here we go. I wish the backbeat came in sooner. I really like that guitar tone a lot. It's aggressive, but it's cool. And it's a cool juxtaposition off the lighter stuff. Yeah, I have to work on timing and rhythm. Yeah, so with the vocal, especially with the vocal sample, and being that this is only the third like full-length song you worked on, vocals, it's really important to know where the downbeat is, because the downbeat is not always like where the vocal transient happens, right? So you want to pay attention to the actual tempo of the track. Where is beat 1? Where is beat 2? Because if you start taking... If the downbeat of the vocal gets moved and it doesn't match up with the downbeat of the track that you're making, then things start to seem a little off. It can work if you know what you're doing, but if you're not too sure, sometimes it can sound displaced. Also, when it comes to like the vision of your track, I would have liked for you to pick one direction to go in instead of having these two sort of like kind of completely different ideas that don't seem that weren't incorporated together all that well, because you have this sort of like ambient cinematic, people were like, okay, getting ready for battle, it's a little game like, you know, a little Oblivion, a little exploring the open world, we don't know what's coming from us, and that's fine. But the vocal doesn't quite match up rhythmically with all that, because all that stuff is slow and long and drawn out and mysterious. And then the vocal just comes in and it's like, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna sing. So you could have stretched that, made it a little more ethereal, or just stuck with the ooze. That distorted guitar coming in is cool, but music is all about tension and release. So by a minute 36, we get this backbeat, which is sort of like this release of tension that we've built up for a minute 30, which is cool. I would have liked to go more further into this direction, become like a full-on shoegazy kind of song, but then we just finish that and we just go back to this section. So like in terms of tension and release, there isn't much of a journey for the listener to go on, you know what I mean? So those are all things to consider in working on your next track, but nonetheless, it's cool that you put all these different elements together and we're trying to experiment with. aggressive guitar tones, a weird shoegazy vibe in the middle, but also like some brass and ambient. Just kind of try to be more focused going forward in your tracks. And if you want to blend genres, it's not impossible. Just be really, really deliberate about it and figure out what elements of which genres you're going to bring together to make one complete whole. Instead of just this part, and then this part, all separate. Interweave them a bit more next time. All things to think about, but all things that I think literally any beginner kind of grapples with. You have big ideas, you have all these influences, and you're not sure like which direction to go, and it kind of comes out in a messy way at first. But thank you, Barn Red. I appreciate that track. Good for you for submitting and putting it together. Should have used some more time on this. No big deal. On to the next one, my friend. We have, you could open up your laptop or pick up your phone right now and start making a new track. That's the thing. We have all this technology at our disposal, so let's not get too hung up on, our earlier works in the process. You can work on it. You probably learned some things making that, and now on to the next one. Apply what you learned, apply some feedback, and then make it better. And then rinse and repeat. Keep doing that process, and that's just how you get better. Let's see what Jimmy's got cooking up for us next. Dream and Bass. I think we got another high energy track come in. Oh boy. I can already tell this track is going to be too short. See you in... I like that. I can't believe it stops like that. Make an outro, Jimmy. What's up with that? Can't believe it ends like that. Really good. So there's actually a cool example of taking a vocal phrase and displacing it rhythmically where it actually works well. So that initial line, see you in my... I'll play it from the original track. Let's see if we can find it. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I... 1, 2, 3, 4, see you in my... So it kind of happens on the second bar of the phrase in the original track, but here it happens like smack down on the downbeat. 2, 3, 4, in my dream. It almost floats like triplets. Da, 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 da. Maybe I'm not correct there, but it just has a different feel there. I'm not quite articulating it correctly. Very cool take, Jimmy, though. We have a lot of like drum and bass, house. What happened? What happened to this community? We haven't done one of these in a while. Did something happen overnight? But it's cool. D&B revival, yeah. A lot of people are into the more upbeat stuff these days. I think people have some energy they want to get out these days. You know what I mean? DJ AF says, the news in the USA is heartbreaking every day. Thanks for creating positive vibes, everyone. Yeah, really stoked for this community to be super positive and happy to host a positive space. It's not just the USA, though. Let's be real. There's a lot of rough news going on around the world, not just in the USA, though. I will not discount the fact that the US is in a particular kind of chaotic environment at the moment. But nonetheless, this is a very international community, so everybody's dealing with the different things everywhere, whether it's on a global, national, or just personal scale. So whatever, it just means that like we shouldn't discredit the fact that with this technology, which can also be the source of a lot of conflict and a lot of controversy, and we talked about it earlier, there can be a lot of negativity going on the internet into different spaces, but we can sort of create our own digital spaces. It doesn't have to just be all this big open space where anybody can talk and anybody can say anything at all. Of course, if you come to this community, we're welcoming of all, but we don't really tolerate a certain level of negativity. And you notice like how today's chat has been completely positive. It's just like a bunch of people trying to make stuff and be positive. So we need to build more spaces that are like that kind of don't open the door to that sort of negativity. Not that we never have negativity in the chat. We do. It's just kind of not tolerated. The community holds itself accountable, and then I have to be a good community leader and find that negativity when it happens and snuff it out really quick. And of course, we're not talking about things like criticism. We're not talking about things that could be otherwise constructive. You can be constructively negative, but there's a lot of just like unconstructive negativity on the internet. I don't have to tell you all that. You all know that. But we have to do a good job of not taking the bait, I guess, and just snuffing it out as it comes our way. So yes, when you think about the internet and when you think about modern technology, don't try to fall into the doomerish kind of trap of being like, oh, things are so bad now because of the technology or whatever. We can also make something great out of it. And I think this community, this stream here today, is a good example of a positive use of technology, internet, something that would have never been possible. Think about this 10, 15 years ago. To get this international community of producers all working on, a community event like this, being able to talk with each other in real time, this is the stuff we kind of dreamed about. And here we're able to do it. So don't let the loud, I don't know if they're the minority or the majority at this point, but don't let the loud negativity taint your whole view of the internet and technology and what it can bring for us. Think about that. It is easy to think about, was it better when we were less connected? It's like, one way or the other, we're here now, right? We're here, we have this. You can't really unring a bell. So let's make the best of it if we can. All right, let's dig into the next track. Oh, yeah. Andrew says, a tranquil TAETRO garden. Yes, the vibes here are great. Happy to hear that, Paul. Sophie says, first live stream with you, but I love it. Better than the others I've been on. More kindness. That's what we try to be about. Music is a refuge. Exactly. I Am Orange says, I think about this all the time. I think a lot of people are thinking about this stuff quite often. All right, let's listen to the audio dump with a simple answer. Oh. Ooh. I like that keyboard sound a lot. I think there's some like rhythmic dissonance though between that vocal chop and the overall feel of the track, because the track is very like laid back. That vocal line works really well. Maybe a little more reverb though, because it's got to match the dreamy quality. Let's see, are we gonna get a feel change at any point, you think? Yeah, I think we needed a feel change there because you had that break, so we're expecting kind of something new, but we're kind of just getting more of the same, right? And we're about 2 minutes into the track at this point. So how could we have built up something different for a B section, right? I love all these synth sounds. Really great. Rearrange the words? That's kind of funny. Oh, did you use Ace Studio in this, Paul? Oh, very cool. I hear your point about the verse chorus song structure. I'm just not sure that there's enough distinctive factors between the verse and the chorus, right? There's no energy change really. There's not quite enough difference between the vocal production of the verse and the chorus, you know? A little more diversity between the sections. You don't have to totally change styles, but there should be some evolution between the sections, right? Oh, the chord progression and the synths are just lovely. Really nice outro. Really great. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in there. I love all the synth sounds you chose. I think you would do great with ambient music, Paul. I don't know if you already make ambient music, but some of those patches, I don't know. Be curious to know what synths you use, if you're using hardware or software or making your own patches, that kind of thing. Would love to hear more. Let us know, Paul, in the chat. Thank you for that submission. Oh, I see. First track, I got to use my Syntac for drums as well. Oh, very nice. Made patches for keys and two basses. Okay, I'll read before I ask the question, you know. Let's keep it going though, because we got quite a few more entries. Not quite a few, but a few. Let's listen to Brento's Garden Dreams. What's up, Brent? Whoa. We got bluesy there for a second. I'm worried about these vocals, Brent. They're not quite in key, I think. Little ragtime piano vibe. Or our vintage vocal. It's weird because the guitar came in. I thought we were gonna go in like a Cure direction, almost, or like almost like the Smiths kind of situation. Yeah, I would avoid that sort of like peaking overdriven vocal sound too. It's like the problem is you've combined this like distorted vocal sound with vocals that are also out of key, so it really sounds like something went wrong with the vocal, unfortunately. Overdrive and like a hot vocal, you know, can obviously work if the vocal is also pleasant, if the melody is actually pleasant to listen to over the track. But since this vocal is out of key with the rest of the track, you've combined like a really harsh vocal effect with an out of key vocal, and it kind of is hitting not quite right. It's like a step too high. But if you took this vocal and you got it in the right key, I think you have something really interesting, because you've got that sort of like 80s synth bass, and then this instrument that's doing like an ARP, which I didn't even realize was kind of like a bit crushed piano until it started doing the bluesy thing. I think when it goes in the bluesy direction, that's like very cool, piques my ears. But we need better execution of the vocal, so just be careful of that. Be very, very careful about tuning the vocal properly, and if you just make that one adjustment, I think it'll sound good. And but also be careful on the hot vocals, the overdrive kind of situation. But thank you for that submission, Brent. Argnostic says, I sometimes hate my intranet, and I am sorry for off the top. I recently participated in a competition in my country and received not the most pleasant reviews. Well, sometimes you're going to get harsh feedback, right? And that doesn't mean you should stop, but also you want to understand the context of whatever you're submitting to. So I don't know the details, Argnostic, of whatever you submitted to, some competition or something, but there's a difference between this community where this is like very much a learning community. That's what my channel is based around, you know, tutorials, teaching. And there's a difference between that and between like, I don't know, like if you go on American Idol, they're not there to tell you, okay, you just have to do this, this, and this to get better. They're there to find the next American Idol or whatever. Think of any competition show. They're there to find like the best, somebody who's currently on their A game at their best. So if you enter into that kind of space and you get some harsh feedback, while I think people can be kind with their feedback, people can be kind and constructive, but you also might not be in a space that is for that. You know what I mean? So don't set yourself up for disappointment or discouragement by going into those kind of spaces that aren't specifically for learning and feedback, if you know what I mean. And if you do enter in a space that's not specifically for learning and feedback, that is for like a more competitive atmosphere, just be mentally prepared, especially if you're not, especially if you don't have that much experience. Enter into those things, get the harsh feedback, take it and go, but don't let it discourage you ultimately. That's what matters. I am Orange. Are you still here? I am Orange. Wanted to give the challenge a go to push myself out of my comfort zone. The samples were fun to work with, not typical for me to work with vocals. I planted the seed. Hope you like what I grew. All right, let's see. I'm ready for drums. Ooh. Definitely dreamy. You nailed dreamy. Maybe a little more brightness on the vocal. I wouldn't have filtered them out so much, you know? And there's almost like a little bit of dissonance happening in those pads. I don't know if the tails are just too long or something, or they're overlapping. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. It's like these weird kind of overlapping harmonies. Cool rhythmic stuff on the vocal. Sounds like major and minor fighting. I agree. There's some chordal clash there. Trying to work on my compositions. I hear you. Yeah, so like if you're trying to work on your compositions, consider this. You have this really nice structure at the beginning where you've got this nice floaty intro. You set up the track. We finally get the drums and the feel. That plays out for a bit. And then we bring it back down to being mellow. But this kind of mellow section lasts a bit long. And then, where's that snare? This kind of clear snare backbeat comes in at about 210. The track is only 3 minutes long, and we've only hit that steady backbeat by this point. You know what I mean? You never gave the listener a hint that we were going to get a steady backbeat until here. Like ideally, that's something you arrive at, you pull back from, you return to, that sort of thing. So compositionally, you want to. It's tension and release, tension and release. If you remember one thing today, it's tension and release. Not necessarily foreshadowing, But think about what a backbeat does. A backbeat gives your listener something steady, something steady, foundational to grab onto and feel like, okay, the tension has been released. Then once you live in that for a while, you depart from that. You go off into a floaty, dreamy section where the rhythm isn't so steady. Where not that it's not steady, but that it's not so solid with a steady 1, 2, 3, 4. More like something here. You've got rhythm, but it's not like a backbeat. So this is creating tension. This feels like it's building to something, and then you build back to a steady backbeat, right? Tension and release. You want that to be pretty even trade-off. I mean, in some cases you can have a track that builds a lot of tension and then is very satisfying when it arrives at a single release, but most songs are sort of like a trade-off, a bouncing back and forth between tension and release. And when you do that, you have some tension, then you have some release, then you have a little more tension, amped up tension, then that release is even more energized, and it kind of grows in that way, right? So think about that as you're moving through with thinking about your compositions. You want there to be that even dispersal of tension and release. We have one more track to listen to. Amos Burton. Oh. Ba, 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 ba. Nice. It's another Too Short track. Excellent. Yeah, that could have gone for another minute probably. Very cool. Almost with that final entry. What do we have here, chat? We have a lot of high energy stuff. We have some experimental stuff. We have a few tracks that are a bit more laid back, but overall the diversity here is kind of crazy. Now my initial plan was to listen to these ahead of time and then announce a winner on stream, but I'm not going to do that because this was my first time listening to each of these tracks. So what I want to do is spend a little more time with these tracks and then announce the winner on Instagram this weekend. So I'll spend a little more time with the tracks and I'll announce 3 winners this weekend. There's just a lot of good stuff here to go through and I don't want to just make an on-the-spot decision. At the end of the day, my least favorite part of doing a competition like this is choosing a winner, because ultimately, especially if you're somebody who's submitted before, I can usually hear some type of progression, some type of evolution in your skills. So I have to take that into account, and I also have to take into account, like, how do these tracks actually sound, forgetting all of that context. In which do I think were the best sort of execution of the mission being like taking these vocal samples and making something totally new out of them, giving a new perspective on these vocals. So I will hold on to these tracks, give them a few more listens through, and I'm going to choose just my 3 favorites. Doesn't mean it's the 3 best, and it doesn't mean the ones that I don't choose were bad. It just means that I picked 3 favorites, and those 3 favorites are going to get a 1-year license for Ace Studio, so you can go craft your own vocals and stuff like that. If you want to know more about how these vocals were created, there's a link to the video that I did in the description. If you want to download these vocals for yourself, there's a link to download those vocals free in the description as well. And if you want to find out more about the actual application used to create these vocals, there's a link to that. All the links you need are in the description. Surprise, surprise, all the links are in the description. You know how it goes. But I enjoyed this session with you all today. Any final words? There will not be another stream this week. This is the last, this is the only stream this week. We'll be back again for regularly scheduled programming next week. There will be a video on Sunday, however, so I hope you'll enjoy that. If you have missed our past live streams, check out the live stream tab on the channel because there's lots more there. This is interesting. Localhost says, is Stickbot your second name? I don't know what that is. Thank you so much for putting this together. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, and shout out to Ace Studio because when I pitched this, they, you know, sponsors reach out and they don't really know what's possible or what we can do. And a lot of sponsors just want to do a straight up, just a video sponsorship because that's all they know. They're like, we just want to get eyes on a product or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever, I can make something creative out of that. But when I pitched to a studio, hey, let's do an actual community event, get people's hands on these vocals so they can hear how good they sound and how they can flip them, then it actually, I think it goes a long way. So shout out to Ace Studio for helping us put on this kind of event. Logoho says, I've seen the image of you on the Cakewalk site. Supposedly your quote and the name Stickbot. Let's find it. Let's find the Cakewalk website. I have done a video shoot for a Cakewalk in the past. I think it's on, I see what you mean. Localhost. Here, I found it right away. It's Cakewalk website. I think this just says Cakewalk Next user. I could reach out to them because it does come across as like this is a quote by this person, but I think it's obviously not that because that's not my quote. But that is me. My old studio. We'll have a new studio soon. I'll tease that for you all. We'll have a new studio, not really soon, but it's going to be a fun summer. That's what I'll say. Thank you for bringing that up, localhost. When's the next challenge? Andrew, I'm not sure when the next challenge will be, but we will do a track feedback stream in May. So just stay tuned for that. I'm not sure exactly when, but that's coming. Audio Defective says, great tracks. Yes, great tracks, everybody. Oh, and Odyssey says, please release on Spotify again. I will have a new track coming out May 9th, so look forward to that. That's coming. But I had a lot of fun today, folks. Thank you for submitting music. Thank you for taking part in this challenge. Like I said, I'm going to spend some more time with these tracks, and I'll make an Instagram post with my 3 favorites, and I'll reach out to the 3 to get you all those Ace Studio licenses. But I really enjoyed listening to all the tracks. It's the hardest part is now coming up with some favorites, even though, you know, I can see great things in all the tracks that we listened to today. But I hope to see you all on a future live stream. Hope to see you all in the comments on the videos, and that'll be it for now. See you all on Instagram and Threads. Talk to y'all soon. Feel free to hang out in the garden section of the Discord for now. We should keep that open for a little while after, but if you want access to the full Discord server where we have a bunch of other channels, become a channel member. That's the best way. You can even become a member at the lowest tier, $2 tier. You support the channel, you get access to the Discord and a few other members only things, even at that $2 tier. So if you're watching on mobile now, head over to desktop, find the join button, and become a channel member. That's going to be all for now, folks. I'll see y'all next time. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.